Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 Cold Turkey 18 presented by Dynamic Disc. We're at the Gray Fox Disc Golf Course in southeastern Wisconsin, and I've got your MPO lead card, Jonathan Borzick, along with Nick Robinson, Benjamin Peliotes, and rounding out the card is a three-time and defending event champion, Christopher Meyer. This is the front nine, the final round. Round one was not recorded, so we've got the exciting conclusion for you here. Don't go digging around for more action. It's all right here. And we start off on one of the easiest holes you'll find. Hole number one, just 182 feet. And not a problem there for Jonathan to get things started. Nick, going with the forehand. He's the lone southpaw on the card. And yes, if things are looking a little blurry, seemed to be some kind of focus issue. Thankfully, we had an extra camera packed along, and by the time we get to hole two, we have an entire camera swap for you. Benjamin comes up short. And as I said, three-time and defending champion Christopher Meyer teeing off fourth on this card. Wow, and more work than you're hoping for on hole number one, but Benjamin gets it to drop. He's going to open with the birdie. Hole one plays as the third easiest hole on the course. In fact, one is the third easiest. Hole two is the easiest, and hole five is the second easiest. So three of the easiest holes on the course are in the first five holes. And as you can see, these guys doing their job, taking advantage of it. This hole did play at just 2.29. As expected, star frame to get started. We know Dynamic Disc is the presenting sponsor of the event. Hole two, we're playing in the shorter position, as that's going to be off to the left side. There was a new position added here that some of you have seen during the Skyline Classic. That's tucked way up into the woods. We're dealing with daylight issues and already having a full field. So here in the end of November, we go to the shorter pin. Of course, road on the right side, out of bounds. See a much lower line coming in from Christopher. Not a lot of trouble if you're in bounds that you normally would find on this hole, but Jonathan lets that one go off to the left. So looks like a par coming for him. Again, easiest hole on the course. In fact, I believe there were just a couple of pars in our 15-person division. Benjamin, no problem collecting the birdie. Everyone played the exact same course and layout during the morning round. I got started around 9 a.m. and then finished up about noon. Everyone got some pizza that I had provided during the lunch break from the establishment just down the road, Copper Bottom. And there you have it. 15 competitors in the field, 13 of them birdied it. Jonathan, your leader, not able to get it, though. They take a short walk over to hole number three. And we move to one of the tougher holes on the course in terms of getting a birdie. In fact, this will play as the second most difficult. 456 straight uphill. Well, yeah, that's pretty good. It's going to be short, but not by much. That'll at least give him a look. Getting to the top of the hill is really key there because then you can see the basket kind of flattens out once you get to the top. Yeah, no, that's not the place. That's like the one place you for sure cannot go, especially if those trees are going to come into play on the approach. Not quite as punishing, but he still will have a blind look, as you see with the uphill run-up. You're really just kind of picking a spot and throwing to it. And that's done pretty well. Jonathan comes into the event with a 998 rating out of Wheaton, Illinois. Christopher here with a 992 rating out of Johnsburg, Illinois. Now throwing his third. Well done, but that's going to be a bogey at best. And here's what I mean by getting up to the top of the hill or cresting the hill. You can at least see the pin here and almost ring it up like Benjamin almost has a chance to do there. Gives it a good bid. High right side chain. Nick, a 994 rating. So these guys are incredibly competitive when you look at their ratings as I rattle them off. 998, 994, 990, and 992. So no clear-cut front runner when it comes to just looking at their ratings and taking that quick snapshot of their abilities. And we go from a hole that had all but 2 birdies on the previous one to this one having 0 birdies. Played .36 over par. Certainly bonus birdie there at 456, slightly uphill. We head to 4. 375. You really have to put that kind of turn on it to get around the initial grouping of trees. And then you just have 1 or 2 to contend with at the end. But for a righty backhand thrower, this really plays as a left to right bend, just like that. And then it's just a matter of not putting too much on it. I'm going to give Benjamin at least a 35, maybe 40-footer. It sneaks past on the left side and looks like it's going to be on the edge, so still giving him a look. Sometimes a few of those branches or the footing can kind of jack you up on that left side, but it doesn't look like it should be a problem for Jonathan and Christopher heading in that same area. Nick, long range. Not really enough on it, though. Yeah, from way downtown. Huge birdie putt for our reigning champ. So great bounce back after the bogey on the previous hole. Benjamin for birdie. And just short. It's got to get something going here. Jonathan with a look for birdie. And he cans it. Well, a few months ago, the algorithms brought me to this incredible individual. His name is Trent. He has level 3 autism. And it just dawned on me at one point that I'd like to support him and his family and learn more about autism overall. I ultimately commissioned him for our stamp for this year's event. Check him out on all the socials. Here's drawings by Trent.
Hey, Trent.
Hey, Daddy.
Got a custom request from Terry Miller. They want a turkey throwing a frisbee. So I can disc something. Turkey throwing a frisbee. Hey, let it go. Is he catching it or throwing it?
Throwing it.
Okay. Thanks, Terry.
And what's so great about that is as soon as I mentioned or showed everybody the video and talked about it, tons of people said, I watch his stuff. So check it out. That's Drawings by Trent. He is on TikTok with a couple million followers. He's on Instagram. He's got his own website. And money that is raised from some of the Dimax discs that I did for this event is going to where Trent went to school many years ago, and that is Heartspring in Wichita, Kansas. So making a donation to help raise awareness for autism. And quite honestly, if I'm being frank, I don't have any direct ties to autism and people directly affected that are close to me, but I know millions of people do. And I think some of the beautiful powers of social media have helped make this connection. So glad to be supporting Trent and his entire family and his cause. Chris, not able to convert. And Jonathan also not able to convert. Keep in mind, this is the second easiest hole on the course, just 201 feet. Little gentle left to right bend, downhill. Nick will take advantage. And Benjamin not taking it for granted either. Again, a hole you should be carding the 2 on. 11 of our 15 competitors picked up birdies here. Nick doesn't want to turn it into something even worse by somehow walking away with a bogey. Excuse me, Jonathan, that is. I was thinking how Nick is all knotted up with him. And that's about as bad as you could see go down as a easiest birdie hole turn into a bogey for you. They take a short walk over to hole number 6, and a big shout out to Craig and the rest of the crew over at Zing Minis. This plays uphill. Well, okay, right about there. I was going to say, if you want a whole preview, that's pretty much what you're trying to do. That's trouble. Not as much trouble in November as it would be, say, in June or July due to the leaves and the trees, but still trouble. This at 218 effectively throws at least at 260, maybe even 270 or 280. You need to put a little bit on this to get it all the way up and around. Benjamin going to leave himself still with work to do. Chris over in the territory of where the short pin is. All right, we could do without that roll. bit of dancing around. Like he was getting stuck in the turkey gravy, trying to get his way out of it. I don't know what the heck that means, but nonetheless, Benjamin in for par. So our co-leaders, both with birdie looks. Solid. And as we're watching Nick step up, these are the gracious people that went above and beyond to give a little extra when it came to sponsoring the event. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys out there. Most of them being multiple time supporters of the event in some extra capacity. So certainly recognize those guys. Nick not able to pick up the birdie and is going to fall one back of our leader in Jonathan, which is where he started the second round. Just a little more work than he was hoping for. Nobody loves the extra 20 or 25 feet of rollaway that felt quite unnecessary. We head to 7, the most difficult hole on the course relative to par, averaging 0.64 over. Sets up great for a lefty. You want to throw it dead straight down the tunnel. Maybe a little bit of flex. Okay, yeah, that's almost perfect, but it gets caught up. Was placed straight down for the first 290 feet and then bends up and to the right. Most righties aren't really going to get there with a backhand. Your best chance is a big forehand or possibly, like Nick is, the lefty. Good turn, and that's going to give Christopher still a chance to save the par. So Benjamin from 120 feet looking at a par. This hole can absolutely be a tournament breaker. Not getting off the tee clean, fighting through the initial tunnel, and then getting caught up left or right side of this green. I've seen this one really crush some scorecards. Christopher, a chance to save par. So Benjamin in for the par. Jonathan looking to get the same. Sitting on the one-stroke lead over Nick. Oh, no. Oh, no. If somebody tells you, I took a 4 on hole 7, you don't even bat an eye. Like, oh, there's a million ways that could happen. Missing a putt from that distance, that is not one of the ways that you would guess. There is so much other trouble on this hole, so that's got to be deflating for Jonathan. And just like that, him and Nick are both knotted up at the top. So Nick will have the honors. Very lefty-friendly hole. Asking for it to keep going. You need to get around that last edge. 5 or 8 more feet, and he would have been pretty close to parked. You have to get around that final last turn. If you don't, you want to stay out in the open so you can still have a clean look at the basket. And Benjamin is going to be somewhat short of the turn. As he said, turned right, should do the job. Common play here, especially in calm conditions. I like the backhand roller. Did it go down too early? No. Says it's too flippy, but I think he's going to have a look. You see it right there in frame, right in the middle. So great shot by our three-time champ as Benjamin just having to deal with this corner still, and that's exactly what Nick's dealing with. Oh, no. Just a little soft and not enough to get it to drop in. That is going to hurt because that was a really good roller, setting himself up for the birdie luck. And he's going to walk away with a par. That's what we're going to see from the other two. Now, Jonathan wants to make sure everything's ready to go. Dealing with a tree, at least kind of in his stance, or a low-hanging branch, I should say. That's a solid birdie, though. Ultimately, about 25% of the field were able to pick up birdies here, which is only 4 gentlemen. So, nice work, and pars for the rest. We head over to the 9th hole. Hope you guys can see some of this frigid play and then think about coming and joining us. If not 2024, some other year, we'd expect to see you over at Samui Disc Golf in Thailand. Jonathan is clean. Nick, on the other hand, gets hung up. This is very straightforward, just 221 feet. A tunnel for the first 60 or so % of the hole. Not going to do it. And perfectly drawn up with the putter. No problem for Mr. Meyer. I appreciate you guys for joining in, watching some of this local action coming out of southeastern Wisconsin, late November. Big thanks to Dynamic Disc, our presenting sponsor. Thanks to all the people that help out with the event as the weekend rolls on, along with the sponsors that I put up on screen a little while ago. And Dustin Skorpinski, my buddy out there, grabbing the footage as well so that we would have this action. I'd love to know, do you guys like the local scene, so to speak? I mean, obviously it's late November. Does local golf do it for you? I mean, if you're watching and you're this far into the round, it must do something for you. But would you like to see more of it? Or are you more concerned with our top dogs and only play from the bigger events? Leave that in the comment. I've got some stuff to give away. Maybe even a custom disc with a Trent drawing on it. I have just a few of those left besides the one that's for sale for autism. So like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. Jonathan Borzick, currently a 2-stroke leader. We've got the back 9 to go. I promise it's actually much more difficult. We'll see who comes out on top on the other side. I'm the Disc Golf Guy. We'll be back for the final 9 of the Cold Turkey 18.